How's it going, everyone? This is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome back to my channel. For you returning subscribers, I hope you have received the notification about this video and that you enjoy it. For you who are new here, I ask that you please do subscribe and smash that notification bell, so hopefully you will receive notifications of new uploads. YouTube is a little bit iffy about that right now. I don't know why, but if you comment below my videos, that does help. I believe that makes them stand out in the YouTube listings or something of that nature. And if you do enjoy this review, please do like it and share it with others so they can enjoy it as well. This is part of the 25 days of comic book reviews. On the 19th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Nancy running free in hell. I have to admit, I got this on the very first New Comic Book Day, Wednesday of this month. What drew me to it? Well, the price point for one. Look, it's $2.99. What DC used to be, and what Marvel has not been in a very long time. Also, the art. Look at her. Reminds me of pin-up artwork. And also the artwork behind her. There's demon-type faces. One of them has horns, the other one doesn't. He has a goatee. Yeah. It says, Nancy in Hell, The Long Road. So let's... Oh, before I almost forgot. They have box art here. Look, box art. This piece right here. They've got box art. And they have right here all details about who did what. Written by L. Torres, art by Abel I I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the last name. Colors by Alexandra Thon, maybe? I'm not sure. Forgive me. Cover by Ariel Olivetti. And color separations by, I think, is it Pillar Jamie and Nuno and Richard Rodriguez. Lettering by Monkey Typers. Maybe that's the company. Maybe that's the company name or something, because that just makes me smile. Monkey Typers. Edited by L. Torres and Jennifer Van Gazel. Thanks to Manalory Martinez. Amigo Comics proudly presents Nancy in Hell. Okay. It says down here, the wildest one in hell and her trusty chainsaw are finally back, but not as you expected. After her death, Nancy awakens in hell, a vast wasteland crossed by a single road, absorbing all who end up there. Okay, so that answers a lot for me, because as I was reading this, I was not too sure of what was going on. Was this a place called hell, in in some country or in the United States or someplace, because I do believe there is a city or town in the United States actually called Hell. I'm not too sure about that, but I remember hearing something about that quite a few years ago. Now, just to give you a heads up, this is kind of a zombie story, but not totally. It's a different kind of zombie story. And I'm not a fan of zombie stories, but this comic book intrigued me. And apparently this Nancy in Hell comic book has been around for quite a while. So anyways, it opens up here where it says in the little box, Hell, this location. And you hear someone sing, "Hello Central, give me heaven." That alone is I find funny. And the artwork here, it really gives me the impression that this is some desert and there's little there in the sky. And then the singing continues on the opposite page. "For I know my mother's there, and you'll find her with the angels over on the golden stair." And so maybe it's this guy who was singing, this big old guy. He stops when he sees this, well, as he says it, broad hitchhiking. And you can see Screech! And he starts flirting with her because he says, "Oh yes, you're cute as a bug's ear. What's with you? What, waiting here all alone? You wanna get out of here? Don't you know this road has no end, young lady?" And then she starts looking at him real serious. "My name is Nancy, and even hell has to end somewhere." And she's a very attractive young lady as well. Apparently those at Amigo Comics, where this book comes from, have no qualms about drawing feminine women. So this, this is good. This is good. This artwork is good. It may seem funny that I say that, but companies like Marvel, they really don't put a lot of emphasis on the femininity of their female characters. So she gets in, and the guy says, "You're packing heat." And so he asks about her, and she says that she's been trying to get rid of the chainsaw. And he says that it's her anchor. Okay, that's a little bit cryptic in my opinion. And he goes on to say it has some meaning for you in your past. And she responds, "If bad memories count as meaning, sure, that chainsaw has loads." And she goes on to say it just appeared somewhere, Leviathan Lake, she thinks. I like that, Leviathan Lake. And this guy is, starting to catch on to her. He says, "Little Nancy in hell, no one can keep track of time in this place. Leviathan Lake, such a bad place. No gin mills. The road there is surrounded by, get this, brain deads. And word has it, even spooks Now, what are brain deads? What are spooks? Well, we'll find out. Now, here is some company guy talking on the phone, and he's reporting about Nancy. They're talking about her, saying she's gone, and he wants to get someone named Mr. Fang to go find her. And he wants to know why. And you know, the guy says, "No, you may not ask why." But this is funny. Right here he says, "Sir, I'm afraid Mr. Fangs is permanently indisposed because Nancy chopped him up and stuck his head on a pike there." This is not a comedic comic book. You know, that might be the only funny element. Then again, there might be more. So they stop because his vehicle stops working. And she says, "So we're stuck out here in the desert." And she's inquiring, you know, that she thought there were cities, places. And he just says, you know, there's only desert for miles and miles. There's only desert. And he asked if she could get him the box wrench that he has in the back of the truck. And he calls her Dollface. She says, "Sure, Dollface." And she opens the back of the truck, and then there's these two human bodies that have lost their legs, and I'm guessing maybe one of their arms each. And she sees this and responds with crap. So before she knows it, that big fat dude starts attacking her. And she wastes no time. She defends herself, and she makes short order of him. She, I think, jabs him in the face with her elbow right here. Then she takes her chainsaw, chops his arms off. I mean, because he was trying to, you know, give her a concussion or worse, or kill her. And so then he says, "How dare you, bitch? How dare you? You think you're better than me? You're also in hell, Scrags. You're in hell with me and Bessie." That's what he calls his truck. You know, I never really understood what it is, you know, naming a object as a human. And apparently in hell here, stuff works a little bit different from the physical world, because Bessie starts zooming right for her, you know, and Bessie has no driver. So, you know, it's sort of like a Christine moment, you know, for the, let's see, the story and movie by Stephen King, you know, the possessed car. Only this is hell, or at least the writer's version of it. And over the page, she takes the chainsaw and does something to cause the vehicle to go, flying. And she says, and if that's your anchor, boom. You were right, Jeppo Stalinsky. I'm not better than you. But I really have to appreciate the artwork because it's very lifelike. And by that, I mean, look at the blood spatter. That there's no doubt about it. These people take their art seriously. Then over the page, there's another corporate executive type, talking about Nancy, saying that she's come out of her shell, and that he has someone named Mr. Terrible and Miss Froze on her tail, but they don't know anything about some roadmap. And he says, speaking of which, how's our main asset, Dr. Bile? Yes, he just referred to the this is Dr. Bile down here, this woman. And what is their main asset? Well, it's a person. And she's trying to keep him sedated, but it's not easy. And this is really a kind of gruesome, but it didn't shock me much. She says, I know, the good news is that the levels of suffering are at an all-time high. That should satisfy it. And I have no idea what it is. She says, but it's just Lucifer has begun to call her. So yes, this place is called Hell. This person is called Lucifer. And these are the medications being fed to him. And yes, in each tube, and in each container, there is a little baby. He says, Nancy. So over the page, she keeps going and she sees this weird sign that really looks like it's been given a paint job, with some graffiti on it that doesn't help her any. Of course, she's out in the middle of a desert with no protection, and she's got blood spattered on her chest. And she says, but of course this place wasn't created to make things easy for us, right? And what did you do to deserve hell? She picks up this little lizard. And then it gets even crazier. She's not going to do anything. She doesn't intend to do anything with the lizard. But there's this guy who comes along, looks like somebody who just out of a board meeting or something, says that it's his lizard. And he says, give it to me. And she does. And the man goes crazy. He chomps down on the lizard because that's his lunch, apparently. And I love what she says. Cool, enjoy your feast, whatever makes you happy. And he doesn't know where he is, because the dude thinks he's in Mexico. And I love it. She says, believe me, this place is way hotter than Mexico. And he thinks she's some kind of terrorist. And you know, something happens that this guy, he goes crazy and he starts at her with this big sort of, primitive type axe. And he says, "You slut, I'm gonna have your..." And she goes, "Whack! You don't talk to women like that, asshole." And I like that because, that's true. You don't talk to women that way. Not unless you want to get your face slapped. So these two that the main executive was talking about earlier, they're on the road. They're looking for Nancy. And they stop by and see the exact same guy who Nancy just knocked out cold. And he's standing right up, alert as day. And, kind of makes me wonder how much time has passed between when Nancy knocked him out and when they arrived. But this is when he really gets taken care of. These two, they slice him up and, they take off. Because all he can do is insult them. He says, "What is this level of stupidity? Take me with you now. I'll get you fired. You hear me? Fired. You work for the USSS or CIA?" And this guy says, "We work for this place. Scum like you call us spooks." Okay, I really don't know what that means, spooks. But over the page, this biker gang is just talking, and there's not much to say that really adds to the story. But I'm just gonna take in the artwork here because the artwork is really good and it's really detailed. They're out. Like I said, they're out in some sort of desert, which is actually hell. And, that this might not add anything to the story now. Maybe it'll add something to the story in the next issue. But it's just, to show the, the interaction between these four characters here. Then Nancy enters the picture again, and he spots her and says, "Some blonde bimbo has strayed off the road and a swarm of brain deads have got to her. She's fighting back with a chainsaw." Okay, now it is established what the brain deads are. They're zombies. At least they appear to be zombies to me, because of the pale complexion on their face, the absence of color like a living person has, just like the absence of color like Nancy has. Those are zombies. And she doesn't want to hurt them any more than she has to. But they keep going on. You remember. Who are we? Who am I? I had something, a thing. Tell me. Who am I? Why? I am here. We will remember. She says, "Don't. If we eat your flesh." And so they attack her, and she does not stand for it. She's not going to let her flesh be eaten. No way. Because she takes that chainsaw and she chops them up good. Blood goes flying everywhere. You will not find this in your mainstream comic book. It's actually entertaining, you know. I thoroughly enjoyed this story. It was something new to discover. Then over the page, that biker gang approaches her, and you know this guy wants to be her knight in shining armor. But one of them says, "Let's take her to the lion's den. I'm sure the widow will pay handsomely for such a nice piece of ass." And I have to agree, she does have a very nice ass. So, back at that other place, Lucifer is in this chair. And he seems to be going in and out of consciousness. And this guy is mean. You know, he said, "It's for your own good. It's a lie." Or, of course, "It's for our own good. All this has grown around you, feeding off your unceasing pain and sorrow." Oh, so this Lucifer is feeling pain and sorrow. But that's the way it is. As long as you are here, as long as you suffer here, the place and the company shall prosper. And he says, but don't worry, Lucifer. I've got a plan to get you out of here. And I have no idea what that all means. But it sounds like a setup for, you know, a plot twist, possibly. And over the page, it says, "Next issue." And it gives a little synopsis of what's going to happen next time. And it sounds interesting. It sounds really interesting. So I did thoroughly enjoy this comic book. It's Nancy in Hell, 1 of 4, from Amigo Comics. Written by L. Therese. And the story, it took me a while to comprehend what was going on. But when I did, then I could really enjoy the book. I could really enjoy the story then. And of course, the artwork is, you know, to me, I think it really stands out. But most of all, I love the cover, how she looks like a pinup girl, in a way. And plus, the price point, like I mentioned earlier, this is $2.99 from Amigo Comics. And I'm going to see what their other titles are, and if they sound interesting to me or not. So, I hope you all enjoyed this review, and that you decide to, you know, check this book out, because I'm guessing this is a new company, or if they're not new, then they're, you know, kind of small. Because I believe we as the comic book readers need to support good independent work. And this is a good story. A little bit strange at first, but it's good. So if you enjoyed this review, and I hope you did, please do subscribe, and, you know, smash that notification bell hard, and then like and share this review with others so they can enjoy it as well, because that helps out the channel. And don't forget to leave your comments down below. I am Michael for Spirit Comics. This is part of the 25 days of comic book reviews. Till next time, true readers.